Hello and welcome back. We are at day 2 of our 100-day journey of 100 days of 1%. The journey that I'm going on and the journey that you are going on with me, hopefully, where we make small incremental positive changes. Because like we talked about yesterday, those small incremental changes add up to mind-blowing results. As we talked about yesterday, a 1% improvement each day over 100 days. If it was money, that $100 would turn into $270 in 100 days. In a year, $3,800. And in a decade, $600 quadrillion. So 1% positive change over a decade is 6 times 10 to the 17. I actually had to look up what number that was because I couldn't remember what the incremental increases were past a trillion. So today I have a question for you though. What is the one thing that you either say or think on a regular basis that you need to stop doing or start doing? I know you have one. I think we all do. And that is the thing we're going to talk about, how you can make a tiny tweak really, really easily to make it easier to either start or stop what you're wanting to do. And I apologize in the background. My dog is making noise. So this video actually came about from a conversation I had just last week with one of my clients, where he said that he really needs to stop eating fast food. And so we went through a long conversation about what are the things he could do to not just rely on willpower to stop eating fast food, but actually make some tiny tweaks to his day to make it easier to avoid fast food and harder to eat fast food. And that is the make it easier, make it harder strategy, where you look at what the thing is, and then we use some basically lifestyle engineering hacks to make it more simple for you to make the choice that's going to have that positive power impact, and more difficult to make the choice that's going to steal from your positive power. So we're going to go through the 3 top things that people usually need or want to shift towards their positive power impact. Number 1 being water. All right, it's really easy to drink plenty of water. It's also really easy to not drink plenty of water. So what are some of the easy ways that you could drink more water? One is have it available. That is a tiny shift where you just make sure that you get a water bottle you really like, you get a cup you really like, and you keep water at your workspace all the time. You keep water at your bedside table all the time. Just have it. If you have water around, you're much more likely to drink it. That's just basic common sense, plus backed by research. Number 2 is make it taste good. Adding in something like Crystal Light or a powdered drink mix, some lemon juice, some lime juice, make it taste good, and you're more likely to drink water. And then number 3 is drink it through a straw, drink at room temperature. There's some little hacks to just make water more palatable and make you drink more when you do drink water. But those are all ways to make drinking water easier. Now let's talk about what water might be replacing. Soda, iced tea, coffee. How can we make it harder to drink non-water? So therefore we're going to do less of the drinking non-water. One is take it away. Don't have it around. Just like to make drinking water easier, having water around makes that easier. Not having the things we don't want to be drinking around makes it harder to drink them. And that can be just not having it at your house, not having it at your workstation. It can also be making it harder to get. So I know a lot of people are still working from home, but when or if you go back to the office, make an agreement with yourself that if you're going to have soda or if you're going to have iced tea, either it's only when you're out to lunch with your colleagues, or you have to go to the farthest vending machine to get it, or you have to take the longest route to the cafeteria to get it, and you have to come back and finish it at your desk before you're allowed to give yourself a refill. What little tiny things can you do to make it harder to do the thing that's kind of countering your water intake? So of course, water's number 1. Number 2 is movement. How do we make movement easier? Well, 1 is thinking of it as play instead of exercise. So how can you play more? How can you enjoy your body more? and sort of just shift that mental of like exercise is just one more chore in the day to, hey, how can I have fun with this today? Number 2 is take advantage of the beings in your life, like this dog that won't be quiet, or kids, and use them as your mini personal trainers. We pay for their existence. I feed her. I make sure she has her vet care, even on a day that she will not settle for me. Let's use them as a positive motivator to get moving. It's fun to walk a dog. It's fun to go in the yard and play with your kids. It's less fun to get on a treadmill. Now, another easier kind of reward is only doing certain things like watching a show or listening to a podcast while you're moving. So that kind of attaches something fun to something maybe you're having trouble moving back into your life. Now, in terms of exercise, we don't really want to make exercise harder, but we can make our life harder so we get more exercise. So parking at the farthest possible range of your parking lot, whether that's when you're going to the grocery store or when you're going into the office or when you're at the mall, just park as far away as possible. Always take the stairs. Carry your groceries in the grocery store instead of using a cart if you're just picking up a few things. What can you do to sort of increase the difficulty level of your life so you're naturally going to get more movement in there? And then number 3 is food. And this goes back to the conversation that I had with my client of how does he shift this habit he has of getting fast food on the way home from work every day? So in terms of making it easier, here we're thinking about making it easier to not fall into the fast food trap. Fast food and junk food has millions, probably billions of dollars spent on the research for how do they make you crave it so much that you will stop and you will pay excess amounts of money for it. So what are some little tweaks we can do, or this gentleman could do, to make it easier to say no? And one of the ones we talked about is make sure you're not hungry. So for him, his pattern, his habit is getting fast food on the way home from work. So the recommendation I made for him is get some sort of protein granola bar, leave it in your car, and as soon as you get in your car after work, eat that. So you have something in your stomach, you're not hungry, your blood sugar's not crashing, and you're not driven by appetite to go get fast food. Drinking water. A lot of times thirst is misinterpreted by the brain as hunger. So making sure you're well hydrated is going to make it easier to not make the choice you don't want to make. And then adding. I like to start adding positive power choices in before we really start to take away negative Nellies. And my favorite thing to add across everything, and if you've talked to me for more than 2 hours in a medical setting, is vegetables. Add in vegetables. They're nice and bulky, so they fill you up. They're super affordable, versus other food. The frozen veg are a really great option. You can cook them really quickly. You can get the baby carrots pre-peeled and pre-chopped. You can get the celery pre-done. So there are a lot of easy options. They give you something to chew. That chewing sensation often tells your brain that you've had plenty to eat. You can use some fats and creamy things to also tell your brain that everything's good and you're nice and satiated. But if nothing else, they counterbalance the fast food. There's some amazing research showing that eating vegetables actually had a more positive impact and wiped out the negative impact of things like smoking. So eating vegetables, a lot of vegetables every day, is a really critical and important thing, but also kind of an easy thing you can do to up-level your health. So how do we make the food part harder? And one of the things I talked about with my client was make it hard to go into the fast food lane. So if for him, it was on the way home, he was tempted and often did pull into Burger King or McDonald's or one of the places on his way home. Well, don't be in the right lane. Make sure that when you're passing those places that are your magnets towards a choice that you're going to regret, don't make it easy. Be in the far left lane. Make it really hard to make that choice. Don't take that route home. Go a whole different way so you're not passing those areas of temptation. Don't have it in your house. That's a huge one. Don't bring it home. Don't bring it to work. Make eating those things that you don't want to be eating as much, you know don't suit your body as well, a deliberate choice versus an easy grab and go choice. And that's the idea of making it easy, making it hard. So you don't have to do all of that because, again, remember, this is 1%. This is about a small positive power change every single day. A tiny step forward, followed by one more tiny step forward, followed by one more tiny step forward. I just want to give you lots of different ways to think about it. So now back to you. What was the thing that you said that, and you say that I really need to start doing this, or I really need to stop doing this? And what are you going to do to make it easy? What's one thing you're going to do to make it easy, and one thing you're going to do to make it hard? So for me, I need to drink less coffee. And luckily, Starbucks has made it hard for me because with COVID, you can't go and sit inside the stores right now. And the Starbucks I like to go to's internet has been super spotty lately. So all of a sudden, I'm not going to Starbucks as much. So that just takes coffee out of my regular routine. Something I also have been really focused on is adding. So I'm making sure I'm adding water rather than focused on taking away coffee. So that sort of makes it easier to say no to coffee because I already have something to drink and I'm not drinking coffee instead of water when I'm thirsty. Now, something I could do to make it hard, and I may do when I run out of coffee in my house, is not have it. Not have it around, so I can't make coffee at home, I can't make coffee at work. Again, coffee has to be a deliberate choice. And if I'm really bold, I may throw it away. But I will say coffee is one of those things that I love coffee. I don't really want to give up coffee 100%. I just want to drink less of it. So for me, I think my 1% move is 1 cup a day, which I've been doing for the last couple of days successfully. And then making sure I'm drinking water or tea or other things instead that are things I enjoy. All right, guys, in the comments, leave your one thing and what you're going to do to make it easy and what you're going to do to make it hard. And if you have any questions, you need some help brainstorming, leave that in the comments too, and I'll be there to help you along this first 1% positive power change. And I will be back tomorrow for day 3. See you guys.